I don't even know where I want to go with this, Mike, because I'm looking at the Commanders and I just, Jayden Daniels, he looked like a rookie quarterback last night. You didn't really see the confidence. And it almost like he wasn't like in tune with his offensive line. I didn't understand what went on with Jayden Daniels. And both quarterbacks I thought played solid, but Jayden Daniels, he just didn't look like his normal self.
Well, and part of the problem for the Commanders is the Eagles' defense is pretty good up the middle and on the outside. There were only 3 catches from receivers last night. Terry McLaurin had 1 for 10. Noah Brown had 1 for 4. Jeremy Brown had 1 for 4. Everything else was tight ends and running backs, unless I'm missing one here, but I think that's it. So they did a nice job of keeping it in the middle. They did a nice job of taking away the downfield threat. The dink and dunking on the last drive, the scoring drive of the game, we'll talk about that in a second. I think that was forced by the fact that the Eagles' corners did a nice job of taking those guys away. But, I go back to the trade deadline just 10 days ago. There was talk about the Commanders maybe being in the buyer's market for a receiver. Instead, they trade for a corner who hasn't even played yet through 2 games because of a hamstring injury. If you're going to be buyers, don't buy at a position of luxury, buy at a position of need. Because receiver might be a position in need, and we know that there were guys available who didn't get traded. And when you look at the performance last night, maybe they do need another receiver or 2. There's nobody out there now. Trade deadline's come and gone, and there aren't any free agents just kind of loitering around waiting for a team with a need as the playoffs comes along to sign him. So I think that, in hindsight, that might have been a miss from a personnel standpoint. For a team that's done a lot of things we've been praising them for, from a personnel standpoint, that might have been a miss.
But I think if you look at the Washington Commanders, Mike, no one, and I know me definitely, I didn't think that they would be at this point in time where they're at organizationally wise, with a new general manager, new head coach, new players. Just the attitude it's really surprised me how well they've played and how well they've just taken on the responsibility of just being in the position that they're in. So they have a young quarterback. I think they have really 2 good running backs. They do need an extra wide receiver. I would say they need a young athletic tight end. And to be able to get a guy like Marshawn Lattimore on the defensive side, I think Dan Quinn was not only looking at right now, but long-term, if they make this run to the playoffs, they're going to need some more help on the defensive side. And you get one of the top corners, and I think Marshawn Lattimore, he'll come back. He'll be re-energized. He'll be a lot more focused. And I think you'll see, the Marshawn Lattimore of 3 or 4 years ago, a guy that's highly competitive, ready to make plays. But I agree with you. When you look in their offense, they don't have a lot in the passing game. Yeah, Jayden Daniels, he's been very efficient. He's getting rid of the ball quickly. He's not taking a lot of big hits. But they just don't have a lot. Nobody scares you. And then when Terry McLaurin, when he doesn't even catch a pass in the first half, that's kind of concerning to me. Like, how do you have these opportunities as an offense and you don't even look to give them a quick screen, a quick slant? You don't see him out there one-on-one. So to me, a lot of it is the young quarterback. He has his mind made up exactly where he wants to go. He's not surveying the field. So they're going to get better. I like what they're doing. They're building. And Mike, I tell you, I know we just mentioned that they have some shortage on the offensive players, but overall, this is a solid team. And you can't go out to DC and playing against these guys thinking that they're a joke because, this team is still a pretty good team.
No, they've played 3 elite teams this year, the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Eagles, and it's a 1-score game in every one. It was a 1-point game against the Steelers, but boy, it's a tough pill to swallow when you're 7-2 on Sunday morning, and by Friday morning you're 7-4. They still should be able to make the playoffs, but last night felt like a pivot away from Washington and toward Philly as the favorite. They're now 1.5 games ahead of the Commanders in the NFC East. Let's give the Eagles a little love. Let's go ahead.
I look at Dan Quinn, and this is a very critical moment with the Washington Commanders because, you can continue on that downslide, or is he going to get a grip of this team and say, hey, guys, okay, this is what we need to do? Because 7-4 could easily be, it could be 6-5 with that, with that win over the Chicago Bears. So let's not get it twisted. The Commanders are a solid team, but they could still continue to slide. Do we have their schedule where we can look at their next next 3 or 4 games?
I can tell you what it is. We'll see if they pull it up, but I'm looking at it right now. They've got the Cowboys coming to town on the 24th. That's week 12. And the Titans after that before a very late bye. So that should give them 2 wins before the bye. They should be 9-4. And then on the back end, you see they've got the Saints, the Eagles again, the Falcons, and then they're at the Cowboys. They should win,
10
just
games.
looking at that, at least 4 of the last 6. They should, and now it's never easy to go to New Orleans, even when the Saints are on a 7-game losing streak, as the Falcons found out, but they should win at least 4 of the next 6. And that'll get them in. If they go 11-6, they'll get in, Rodney. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.